is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about.
You all ready for this?
This is a sham.
No.
Nope.
Y'all, just stop.
Get real.
Welcome to DBL. We've got the best looking crew in TV, and I'm
Yep.
part of it. Good to see you guys.
Hey.
Good to see you guys.
Tori.
All right. We're going to start today with a story. It's just getting so much press, and many of us are actually watching the documentary. This is about Alex Murdaugh. He's on trial for the murder of his wife and their youngest son in June of 2021. So let me give you a backstory here. He's the patriarch of a very powerful legal family that goes back generations in South Carolina. This case has gotten so much attention. There are even documentaries about it, as I alluded to, including this one on Netflix. Yesterday, the defense rested its case, but there were a number of very interesting things that have happened so far in this trial. Alex Murdaugh took the stand in his own defense and insisted he was innocent and did not kill his wife and son. However, he did admit to having a horrible pain pill addiction, stealing from both his law firm and from his clients. He also admitted to lying to police about his whereabouts on the night of the murders. Take a look.
One of the factors that went into a series, hang on, Mr. Waters, a series of events, all right, that caused me to have paranoid thinking, all right, and then I lied.
Okay, it's important to note that Alex's remaining son testified on behalf of his father, as did Alex's brother, who talked about actually cleaning up the scene following the murders. Yesterday, this blood spatter expert testified that two people actually are likely responsible for the murders, not one. So will this be enough to convince a jury that Alex is innocent? Or will prosecutors be able to prove that Alex is guilty, even though there is no murder weapon, blood spattered clothes, or eyewitnesses? Whew. For more on this, we are going to get veteran, there we go, trial attorney Mark Eiglarz joining us.
Yes.
Mark, are you here with us? There he is.
Looking good.
Hey, Mark.
I'm here.
In
I'm
lavender.
very present.
Look at
Present and accounted for. Okay, so Mark, let's talk about the testimony from yesterday. So what did you think about what the blood spatter expert said?
Well, Miss Image Award
Yes!
nominee, podcaster, I will respond to you.
Thank
Other
you.
than saying you look fabulous on the red carpet. All right, back to the issue.
Thank you.
I thought that the blood splatter expert was extremely compelling for the defense. Out of nowhere, for the first time, we're hearing two potential triggermen. What? Where did that come from? And you know what? If jurors think that's even likely, forget about whether they proved it or not, but if it's likely, it blows the prosecution's theory that it was just him alone out of the water.
But can I just really quickly ask, blood spatter is kind of a somewhat, is it the Monday of sciences and forensics? People don't love blood spatter, am I right?
Yes, but here's the thing. For every action, there's a reaction. Jurors generally are not the brightest, and so they know, okay, if you shoot someone at close range, likely there's going to be blood and or worse things that fall on you. The absence of that in this case seems to suggest the defense would argue that it wasn't him because there was nothing on him.
Wow, there's so many levels to this. First of all, good to see you, Mark. I called you during a pivotal time in my life, and you're the reason I'm sitting here right now, so thank you for that. Let's get to this case. Both Alex's son and his brother testified on his behalf. What do you think about their testimony? Was it credible, and is it important?
Well, it mildly helped the defense what they were saying. But where it majorly helped the defense is what they didn't say and what was implied. What's implied is, I support that man right there. I think he's innocent. I love him, and we don't want you to convict him, jury. That's what they're saying. They're not saying it, but that's what's implied. They know who's calling that witness to the stand. The defense is. So I thought it was compelling for that reason, what they're impliedly telling this jury.
Yeah, even when Buster did it, I was like, wow. Alex testified in his own defense during the trial, Mark. Usually I hear, don't ever do that. Don't ever sit in defense and go to the stand. Was this the right call, in your opinion, though, in this case?
Okay, the answer is yes, it was the right call. I can tell you in 30 years of litigating cases, I know 30 years, he's so youthful looking, that's not possible. But yes, in the 30 years of zealously defending and prosecuting, I can tell you on my right hand how many defendants I've ever called to the stand. Why? You can't control them.
Right.
You generally now are shifting the burden of proof, which should lie exclusively in the hands of the prosecution. I don't like it. In this case, they had to. They were behind the 8 ball. That video, placing him on the scene when all along he said, I wasn't there. I was nowhere near that scene. I was at my mother's house. What's that? You got me on a video, a Snapchat video? Okay. All right. I was there, but I got opioid problems and I'm paranoid, so I lied, which to me is a load of malarkey. But these jurors may be buying it. So yes, he had to testify, and maybe if he connects with just one juror emotionally, and I heard, by the way, 2 of them apparently were crying during his direct examination, then perhaps he avoids conviction.
Wow.
Mark, I have so many questions. Good to see you, buddy. But on the flip side of that coin, if your whole testimony starts off with you were lying about everything, you were lying about your pill addiction, you were lying about being there, then all of a sudden you're like, you know what, guys, I'm going to come clean. This is the truth of what happened. But I'm not lying about killing them. Doesn't that take credibility away from you?
Of course it does. I mean, in fact, the only one he didn't lie to was Samantha. I think everyone else he's lied to, okay? So it's easier probably to say, who didn't you lie to? But here's one thing. It could look like he's owning up to it, that he's being honest. You know, Amber Heard, what we hated about her was that she didn't take responsibility for anything, so she got crushed. In this instant, the guy's taking responsibility for most things. Oh, I've been an addict for 20 years. I've lied to everybody. I tried to have myself killed. I mean, he looks horrible, but he also, to some jurors, may look credible.
Wow. And I would think more importantly than that, he looks human.
Yeah, like I'm fallible,
right? Deal with people that have pill addictions and are liars and alcoholics or whatever. So it's not as crazy as it might seem.
That's interesting.
And you know what he doesn't look like? He doesn't look like a monster, which is what we envision. Someone who's capable of killing their wife and precious offspring. We don't know exactly what somebody looks like who does that, but we wouldn't think it'd look like him. So already that starts off in his advantage.
I don't know, Mark. The moment I saw that man, I was like, he did whatever they said he did. Allegedly.
So, I'm with you. I listen. I don't think he's innocent, but it's not for me to decide.
Well, you already alluded to the fact that this is going to be a tough case to prove for the prosecution. So how do you think they've done so far, and what do you think their chances are of convincing a jury that Alex is guilty beyond a reasonable doubt?
I think they did a great job in their case in chief. I think they fell way short, if I'm keeping it real. That cross-examination is something I would show my law students and say, do the opposite. Meaning, there were some good things he did. He had some moments, but those moments, which make for great TV, where you go, here's the highlight reel, makes him look like he's the best cross-examiner ever. But in between those highlight moments were fluff. What I call fat on the end of the steak. I like a lean filet mignon when I cross-examine. Just stuff that makes the other person feel the jugular being squeezed. Bit by bit, you get those moments, and you get in and you get out. This Juan Martinez and the Jodi Arias case going on for days, that stuff doesn't work in spite of the outcome that he got. In this case, they needed to be quick, in and out, hit him hard, and then boom, get out.
Now I want to
I feel like Mark would be the best head coach to give a speech, because that part about like, I don't want the fat, I want the filet. I would run through a wall for you, sir. Second half, we're coming out. We're scoring the touchdown first drive, bro. Bet that.
There is nothing like steak metaphors. I know.
Work every time.
It's so good.
Good thing Sam's not on this panel, Mark.
Yeah, the vegan in her would not like that. That's true. Mark, thank you so much for going through this and dissecting it a bit. Thank you for being on DBL. Now, for more information on Mark and his amethyst styled, a whole style, go to speaktomark.com. We love your background, love your tie.
Best, sir.
Thank you for helping us with that, because that really cleared up.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Coming up on DBL, we are switching gears. Straight up, now tell me how our interview with Paula Abdul went. We're reminiscing all about her career as a hit singer and choreographer, and a mini Friends reunion at the Hollywood Walk of Fame. We're going to talk about that coming up next. Our viewers are talking about DBL.
Yes! Yes.
I like that.
Leaves me speechless. I'm like blushing.
Thank you, thank you.
That's emotional.
Do I want to sit there and watch them? Yes, I do.
Yeah. I just wanted to say this, Tori, because and I'm glad Destiny and Ebony are here. If you think about what we just did and how bored we were with it, we needed to do a last-second outfit change on you, which made them do a last-second outfit. I'll talk to them. Made them do a last-second outfit change on me. Ebony ran to the back, got my jacket, came out. Marcy and Taylor came, did my microphone on my new jacket. They got Tori together. We then kicked to an interview section in which we didn't know if we had Mark Eiglash on the line yet.
Yeah.
Tori started the interview without knowing if he was there yet.
Right.
We did the first minute, then Tori
so
realized
good.
he was there.
We're so
we kicked
good.
right into the interview.
We're
and went
amazing.
Out.
All right.
Okay. And also explain what I was.
Really cool.
No, it is really cool. That's what live TV. That's why we make the big bucks. Just kidding. Can you tell them what I was wearing before the interview that I got asked to change? It was the right move. It was the right call.
Yeah. Tori looked like how somebody that had been in a music festival for 3 days on a lot of different types of substances would describe
Barefoot,
somebody.
walking.
I met a woman,
Where's my tent?
but she was glowing in every direction. She was giggling a lot, and then I cried and called my dad. Like that's how
It was
somebody
like
would
And then
describe.
why did we change
Disco
Al's jacket?
sequin.
Yes, and then we had to change because it looked like we were about to sit Shiva.
Sit
we
Shiva,
were
the
all
Jewish
in black
funeral.
because Erica Kabi's got the black. Jeff has
Jeff wasn't,
dark.
but
No.
still.
Yeah, and
It looked a little dark.
I had a black jacket, so
Yes.
we just flipped out, and this is more like
Spring's coming.
springing. Yeah,
Yeah,
hey guys,
and you
let's
matched
get out of our
Mark. Did
cave.
you
Middle
know?
of the day.
Yeah. Did you know? In Shiva, you rip part of your clothes.
No.
You rend your clothing,
Why?
your garments, to show how sad you are.
Really?
Nice. Welcome back. Courtney Cox had a little help from her friends as she received a star on Hollywood's Walk of Fame. Courtney reunited with her former co-stars Jennifer Aniston and Lisa Kudrow at the event on Monday. Courtney's 18-year-old daughter Coco, she's 18? Oh, I remember she was born, also joined her during the event. Jennifer spoke about their deep and lasting friendship. Take a look.
Thank you for enriching our lives with your work. We are so proud of you. We love you. Your sister's from another mister, and we love you for 30 years. 30 years. It's a good thing.
Speaking of Courtney, she's responding to a claim made by Prince Harry in his book Spare. So Harry wrote about a box he found of mushroom chocolates in Courtney's fridge when he was staying with her. He says he and his mate washed them down with tequila, then hallucinated that her toilet was talking to him. Courtney recently told Variety that she hasn't read the book, but confirmed the prince did stay with her for 2 or 3 days. She said, quote, "I'm not saying there were mushrooms. I definitely wasn't passing them out." And Al, you brought up a great point in the meeting that I hadn't thought of. I was like, oh, wow, this is cool.
I'm trying to hold back the rage that this snitching represents. There used to be a code, Jeff and Erica. You didn't go to your friend's house and snitch. What are you doing? Erica, you have opened your doors to me. Jeff, Tori, we're friends and family. I would never, if I wrote a book, write something that had nothing to do with wherever I was going. And even if I had to talk about mushrooms in my book, I was at a friend's house. Why are you dropping names? I mean, that could affect somebody. People's kids are going to read that. Not that there's anything to be ashamed of with mushrooms at all, but like it just scares me that I feel like there used to be a code in which we lived our lives. Like not everything has to be a legal reason not to do something, but do you stand for anything? This is your homegirl. This is your friend. Like, why would you out them like that? Maybe they are in a relationship where they found Jesus and they don't want to talk about their past like that. And for you to do that, it seems like I'm making too much out of it, but I think it's a small thing that represents a larger thing, that you're willing to sell your friends out to fill chapter 13, which I don't think is cool.
Yeah, I'm with you on that, man. It's the reason why I kind of keep my distance.
Right.
You know, like
right.
It's the same people that if you're not writing a tell-all book and you don't know a Prince, you're FaceTiming them and they're screen grabbing things, you know what I mean?
Right.
And then the next day they're like, I'm like, where'd that picture come from? They're like, oh man, remember you called me and you guys, I was like, and you screen grabbed it?
Somebody did that?
Yeah.
Homie, what's up? You know what I mean? It's like, that's the same thing.
Somebody just took a screenshot because people were doing that so much that they had to start telling the viewer, like, whoever you're talking to just took a screenshot, so heads up.
Right,
Yeah.
so it's that kind of people that, you know, on that level, right? So it's like, me, I'm just like, listen, I'm going to do my thing. I'm going to cook a steak like we just talked about.
Yeah.
I'm going to have some drinks, and I'm not going to talk to anybody.
Right.
Do you feel like
Because I'm going to do crazy things in my backyard.
I'm like picturing a lot of things. Do you think that the publisher, usually when you write a book and you're mentioning someone quite famous, you reach out to them for a comment? Do you think Courtney was, sought after from the publisher and she said or approved it, or do you think this was off the fly, kind of a snitch a little bit?
No, I agree with both of them. There is an expectation of privacy, especially when you are being hospitable and letting someone stay at your home for 2 to 3 days.
Your house.
I'm assuming that there wasn't like a rate for that each night. But at the same time, I could also see there being like, it's mushrooms, and they're legal in some states. I don't know if it was even a thought of oh, okay. But if you're putting it in a book, I would clear it to say like, hey, this was a really funny story. Remember when this happened? Can I add it in the book?
Totally.
Right.
I wouldn't just put it out there.
Right. I completely agree.
And they're decriminalized.
Yes,
don't
me or the
get anybody jammed up out here.
Oh, sorry.
Coming up on DBL, we talk with the fabulous Paula Abdul. She's given us the deets on her new venture with a clothing line. She looks fabulous. Stay tuned.
Verified viewer Gina received this check in the mail for $2,900. There was also a letter welcoming her to a new job with the Cisco restaurant car wrap advertisement program. Gina thought she might be getting wrapped up in a scam and texted us to see if this is legit. So Gina, let's verify. Our sources are the Federal Trade Commission, the Expedited Funds Availability Act, the Better Business Bureau, AARP, Cisco, and Western Union. A fake check scam is when someone sends you a check, convinces you to deposit it, and then immediately send the money to someone else, typically in the form of a gift card, cryptocurrency, or wire transfer. The scammers are taking advantage of a law that requires banks to make the funds from check deposits that are less than $5,000 available within 3 business days for most accounts, even if the bank hasn't verified that the check is cleared. So, if you sent money onto a scammer and the bank later finds out that the check was fake, you're on the hook to repay the bank. Even if you try and pocket the money, the bank will eventually remove the funds from your account and may also charge you a fee. So, yes, scammers do send fake checks in the mail to trick people out of money. In Gina's case, we reached out to Cisco, and they confirmed they don't have a program like this, and that this is a scam, even though she hadn't yet been given instructions on who to pay to install the wrap. If you get a check like this in the mail that you suspect is a scam, don't cash it. Report it to the U.S. Postal Inspection Service and your state's Attorney General. With your Verify, I'm Brandon Lewis.
Welcome back from Lakers girl to successful choreographer and singer. She's straight up done it all. Earlier, Paula Abdul told us all about her new smash hit, a new athleisure line. Check it out. Paula Abdul, welcome to DBL.
Thank you so much.
I cannot believe I'm speaking to you, man. Straight up, now tell me, Paula, you have collaborated with Smash and Tess for a new athleisure collection. Why did you want to work with them specifically, Smash and Tess?
Well, I met Ashley Freeborn, who's the CEO, and we hit it off right away. She's Canadian. My mother's whole side of the family is Canadian. What I love about her and her company is that they celebrate women, they cheerlead for women, and it's all about inclusivity, which has always been so important to me.
And I have to say, the pieces from your collection, I love the long sleeve romper. There's so many things in there that just look like buttery soft and like it'll give you the confidence to work out. What items in the collection are you telling your friends to buy?
Well, I'm loving hearing what my fans are buying. I mean, everyone has a different favorite, but you hit it on the nail. The fabrication is so incredibly soft, but firm in all the right areas that holds your body and massage your muscles. But like the zip up hoodie it's called the Love Me Up jumper.
Ooh.
And the two pieces, the boot cut pants, the crop tops. I love the jumper that has my inspirational messaging that says, be electrifying, create a spark out of life, and it's a big lightning bolt.
I love that. And, you know, honestly, Paula, you're not just a singer and a dancer. You are woven into this country's pop culture fabric, especially your song, because it's been 34 years since Straight Up went number one.
Ow!
And how does that make you feel that it still resonates with so many people, including the 4 people on this panel today?
I feel extremely grateful, and I look at my youngest fans.
Oh.
Yes. No, but it's a pinch me moment always. You know, I never take anything for granted, and to know that it still resonates with people. And now the TikTok generation is having a blast with my music. Just makes me feel great.
For a full year at Recess, I created a cold-hearted snake dance with my best friend Lauren Thaler. Cold-hearted snake, look into his eyes. So I just really want to thank you.
Sorry.
Absolutely. Because we all grew up with it.
He's been telling lies.
Thank you. Sorry about that. Little break. I texted my best friend. I'm like, Paul was
the
on
best.
the show.
I know.
You did. I don't know if people know this. You choreographed the wedding dance scene in Coming to America. Unbelievable.
I know.
How are
A lot
you?
of people don't even realize
I
that.
know.
I knew
How
that.
are you able to create such a credible African dance routine? Because it's different moves. Tell us about it.
You know, it was a make-believe place, you know. It was Zamunda. So I knew that. For me, it's just creating what I would think African dancing meets, you know, popular hip hop and street moves. So it's funny because I created that, and that's been the staple and template for African dance for all these years later.
So talented.
Unbelievable.
So talented.
So humble, though.
I know, very humble. Paula, you've been in the spotlight for over 30 years, and we've talked about aging in the industry many times. We talked about it today as well. How do you stay motivated to keep going in an industry that is tougher on women aging?
Of course, 100% tougher on women aging. For me, I've been lucky and fortunate to have dance in my life for my whole adult life, plus always mentoring younger people. It keeps me young.
That's why you've had such longevity. You are so grounded. How refreshing. Paula, thank you so much for joining us on DBL today. To our viewers, you can check out the Smash and Test Paula Abdul collection at smashtest.com. So soft. So soft.
Dreamy.
I know. We'll be right back. Thank you so much, Paula.
Paula.
Congratulations.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. Hold on.
President Joe Biden is committed to welcoming 100,000 Ukrainians who fled the war there to find their way here to the United States. There are viral videos like this one questioning that commitment.
President Biden has made it legal for Ukrainian immigrants to get SSI checks.
Our viewers asked us to verify if Ukrainians here in the United States are receiving benefits like Social Security. Let's check. Our sources are the Social Security Administration, the Office of Refugee Resettlement, the Uniting for Ukraine program, and immigration lawyer Charles Cook. According to Cook, there are 3 ways Ukrainians can legally seek refuge here. One is through the Uniting for Ukraine program. Those who qualify can stay in the U.S. for up to 2 years as humanitarian parolees and receive some benefits.
They're eligible for food stamps. They're eligible for supplemental Social Security, SSI. They're eligible for insurance, Medicare.
The Social Security Administration says that certain Ukrainians in the U.S. may be eligible for SSI benefits. The Office of Refugee Resettlement confirms humanitarian parolees may also be eligible for assistance through existing programs, like the Temporary Assistance for Needy Families, health care through Medicaid, and food through SNAP.
No, they're not lifetime on the on the taxpayer dole. This is basically helping refugees who couldn't help themselves.
So we can verify it's true. Some Ukrainians who have arrived in the United States since Russia's invasion of their country may apply and could qualify for benefits like supplemental Social Security for a limited amount of time.
Are you skeptical of headlines and what you see on social media? We are too. The Verify newsletter helps you distinguish between true and false information by answering your questions. It provides fast facts on trending topics, spotlights major stories, and even includes a daily fun fact for all those trivia buffs out there. Get Verify's fast facts delivered every weekday to your email inbox. Go to verifythis.com/email to check it out.
Nearly 50 cars derailed in the small town on Friday, February 3rd. While that train was heading to Conway, Pennsylvania, an immediate evacuation order followed. The next day, the mayor declared a state of emergency. Air quality was being monitored throughout a 1-mile zone. 2 days later, Governor Mike DeWine issued an urgent evacuation notice to anyone who had not yet left. After concerns of a potential explosion following that train derailment, officials conducted a controlled release of the chemicals, one being that vinyl chloride. On February 8th, Governor Mike DeWine lifted the evacuation order. 10 days after the train derailment, NTSB pointed to a wheel bearing failure as the suspected cause of the crash. And on February 15th, the first town hall meeting was held. Norfolk Southern wasn't there. After nearly 2 weeks, Governor DeWine requested federal help, asking CDC medical experts to move in. On February 21st, the EPA administrator went door to door in East Palestine and made a list of demands to Norfolk Southern. 2 days later, U.S. Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg visited East Palestine. Also, the NTSB released a preliminary report of the crash, calling it 100% preventable.
Welcome back. We all love going through that car wash, but there are some things and more things you can do to keep your ride clean and organized. That's today's Auto Alert, sponsored by Ox Car Care. First, you should wash your car at least once every 2 weeks. If you go enough, a membership to a car wash can be worth it. Next, use a microfiber towel instead of a cotton or terry cloth to avoid small scratches. Most importantly, make it a habit to take a few minutes at the end of every day to vacuum and clear out any trash. Ox Car Care is dedicated to providing you with an amazing auto protection plan experience that works with your budget. If you're looking for better car care, give them a call, 1-800-687-1821.
I got the monthly. I love it.
You do?
It is.
You love to clean your car.
It's a very personal thing. It's like it's quiet in there. You set your own. It's just like cleaning the inside of your car. I think you need to take time and do stuff like that.
Who vacuums their car every day?
People with kids.
I have kids, and my car should be set on fire.
We'll see you tomorrow. Set on fire.
Dude.